Hey, what's up, guys? You are listening to the Airtime Misfits Podcast. I am your host, Adam, as always, alongside Nick.
What's up?
Hey, Nick.
What's
We
up,
have a
Adam?
super episode for you, man. We're going
Yes.
to be talking
Super
about
episode.
Superman Escape from Krypton,
hmm
located at
A-
Six Flags. Yeah,
AKA, Superman,
The Escape.
The Escape.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
yeah,
exactly right. From Six Flags Magic Mountain.
yeah. So we're going to be talking all about that and so much more, so stick around.
So, Superman, as we know, at least us enthusiasts, I suppose,
hmm
know, this was a record-breaking 415-foot um, in height coaster that came out back in, let's see, that was 1997. Yes.
Yeah. It was
At
supposed to be 96, but
yes, and
got
that's the
delayed 10
we'll
months to 97. Yeah.
we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was sort of that shocking, going to be on the cover of the public library book that you see, uh,
Yep.
you know, um, ahead of its time, sort of thing. It had that LSM launch, which again we'll get into, proved to be very problematic throughout its lifespan,
Yeah.
and ultimately led to its demise, arguably. Um, and it was also noisy as shit. So,
It was. I was shocked at how loud this coaster is.
oh my goodness, it's
It
like
sounds like a
a
fighter
aircraft
jet
taking
taking
off.
off. Yeah, it does. It's
Whew.
insanely loud. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, as you said, this opened in 97, was supposed to be 96, but those darn LSM fins, they had some problems with this
they sure
thing.
did.
So, they worked on it for 10 months and they had inspectors come and reminds me a little bit of Top Thrill Dragster 2, or is that what it's called? Top Thrill 2 now? Yeah.
Yep.
Similar kind of thing. So, yeah, it was delayed 10 months, but when it opened, it was the first in the US and the second in the world to reach 100 miles an hour because there was a clone coaster called Tower of Terror 2 at
In
Dreamworld in
Australia.
Australia
hmm
that opened just slightly prior. But these are basically clones. I believe Magic Mountain does
Right.
held the record though for the tallest coaster because I don't think like the structure of Tower of Terror 2 went quite as high, but they had the same drop, I think. But
Yeah,
anyways,
I might be off, but maybe I feel like there was something in Australia about a height requirement. I
yeah,
might, I could be wrong, but yeah, there was something there.
yep. So yeah, this was I mean, in 97 when this opened, I mean, it was a massive roller coaster. And I remember being a kid and like seeing this thing in the news and on books for how tall it was and how fast it was. 100 miles an hour seemed crazy at the time.
Oh yeah.
Because
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the two fastest coasters prior to that were Phantom's Revenge at Kennywood, and then Desperado at Wild Bill's
Oh,
Casino,
yeah,
whatever that's
yeah.
called.
Wild Bills. I said
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Or is it Buffalo Bills? It's one of the
Buffalo.
no,
Who
Wild
knows?
it's Wild
Bills something
Buffalo.
in Vegas.
Yeah, in Vegas, yeah.
um.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
100 miles an hour was crazy at the time. It was a
It
big
was.
jump. Big jump.
It
hmm
was. And Intamin, I think, as Intamin does, bit off more than they could chew with this one.
Yeah.
And
That's why they're the best.
that's why they're the best, and that's why they're just burning bridges. But
Mhm.
it at the time again, it was this shocking, eye-catching, GP pleasing 100 mile an hour. That's a good round number you could put on
Oh
a
yeah,
poster.
that's a
Uh,
marketing gold mine. 100
oh
miles an
man,
hour. Yeah.
at 90 degrees exactly
Yeah.
vertical angle,
hmm
415 feet. I mean, this thing, and at the time it had two towers, which only operated half the time,
Right.
which was a whole other thing. But yeah, this coaster throughout its life has a lot of lore. So as I originally said, like it operated as Superman the Escape from 97 to 2010. And this is the coaster I remember building in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2.
Oh yeah, me
Um,
too. All the time.
so absolutely, this was the one that like sometimes I would mod it and I'd always get kids that would come off puking or something. I don't know. I was
Yeah.
real
Oh yeah.
sadistic.
Or just make it not quite tall enough so the car would go flying off the top of the spike.
Oh yeah, all of
Yeah.
those acts. Yeah,
All those
absolutely.
sadistic things.
It's
Yeah. I was doing
oh
that when I wasn't busy dropping the peeps in the lake. So
yes, exactly. But yeah, so that was as I knew it, and then obviously as Six Flags does, they had to rename it. Surprisingly, it didn't get renamed a third time throughout its life,
yeah.
um, but they did rename it to Superman Escape from Krypton in 2011,
Yeah.
and then
And with
yeah,
that, they had the new trains when one of them was facing backwards,
yes,
which is
and
the big, yeah.
that was the big selling point because then you had two big lines, two big, things, two big experiences at
Right.
once, essentially,
Did
that they're
you
selling.
did you experience the backwards launch?
I let's see. Yes, I did. That was the
Okay.
only one I experienced.
I only did the forward launch.
Okay.
I actually want because actually when I wrote it, it would have been like 2005 or so. So it wasn't actually
Oh,
going
that's right.
backwards yet.
That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I wrote it in 2019.
Mm.
So, yep. Yeah, it would have been going backwards.
Yeah.
And you can fact check me if I'm wrong. My memory's hazy, but
The
um
last couple times I went to Six Flags Magic Mountain, it was closed, which that has a long history of being
yeah.
closed. So
Oh. Oh, yeah. It's
yeah.
it's an Intamin
Hmm.
Stratocoaster. It's just bound to be closed.
Yeah. Another surprising thing was how much it cost when it opened. It was $20 million,
$20 million.
which is a lot back then.
Back in 97, let's see. I'm gonna look up the equivalent to what that would be today.
Oh
So,
yeah.
20 million back in
I'd
1997.
I'd be curious.
That's got to be, yeah, about 40 million.
Jeez.
So
Yeah.
that's double. I mean, that's
Uh-huh.
huge. That's
Right.
huge.
Yeah, I mean, it was an expensive coaster. I think a lot of the cost was because it was new technology. So when you're wanting something new, you
There's
got
a
to pay
price to pay.
extra.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I will say though, for how often it was closed or only one of the towers is running, it did. I mean, it was open until just recently in 2024. September
Yep.
2024 is the last
Yeah. It
month it
operated
ran.
until September
Yeah,
1st.
that
Yep.
was a pretty long stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very long stretch
Hmm.
for something of this stature and riddled with this many issues. And we talk
Yeah.
about a coaster that, not only went through the standard paint job and stuff, but just major overhauls with the trains.
Hmm.
Let's see here. I was just looking at that. Due to problems, never opened for the 2011 shoot. I thought I read something here. Anyway, but I know that they had several issues throughout its time, not to mention again the major noise complaint issue. If you know, you know. If you've been to Magic
It's
Mountain
so loud.
while it
Yeah.
operates, you can't miss it. I mean, it sounds like you're at an air show.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
does.
crazy.
With a fighter jet like zooming
Yeah,
by. Yeah, it's
exactly.
insane. It's the loudest coaster I've ever heard.
Without
Um,
question.
yeah. Another cool thing though that Intamin did though, again being innovators, is in 2012 they added two drop towers
Mm-hmm.
to the structure of Superman, and those drop towers are Lex Luthor Drop of Doom.
Yep.
I believe when those opened, those would have been the tallest drop towers in the world
Mm-hmm.
until the ones that opened on Kindika.
Zumanjaro.
Kilimanjaro, Drop of Doom. Yeah.
Zumanjaro.
Yeah, that's right. Zumanjaro.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so that in itself, I mean, that was a clever idea to use the existing structure to
Hmm.
mount these drop towers.
Let's
And
salvage this piece of crap.
right. So Superman did have to close for a period of time while they were doing that construction.
Hmm.
I mean, that was a pretty cool idea at the time, and I remember thinking how like clever that was that they're doing that.
Yeah,
And Six Flags did confirm that even though that Superman's no longer going to be around, they are keeping Lex Luthor Drop of Doom.
interesting. I
Yeah,
guess I
so
hadn't caught that yet.
yeah,
Okay,
so they're keeping the drop tower for now. So I don't
okay,
know if they, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to look, if they're going to deconstruct the whole ride other than like the vertical support structure portion of
yeah.
Superman or what.
Because great, yeah, Great Adventure said, yeah, we're not going to keep
The
Jim
whole
Jarl.
thing.
Like
Yeah, the whole
that's
thing.
gone.
Yeah, which is
No
cool to
point, you
see.
know.
Did you see
Hmm.
the implosion
Yeah.
of Kingdra?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
this like bittersweet. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because you
It is. I
gotta.
mean, yeah, I
That
mean,
was
I
a
would,
rough one.
yeah, both of these rides are pretty iconic in coaster
Hmm.
history, culture.
Absolutely.
So to see, I mean,
Legends in
really,
their own time.
yeah, I mean, we've really been riding a massive wave of roller coaster closings that are like iconic from our childhood,
Yeah.
just over the last couple of years.
It's
Uh,
been it's been really sad.
yeah, like one after the
Some of
other.
them, like, man,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Damn, I built that in Roller Coaster Tycoon. That was my first thought when I saw this, and there've been a couple
Right.
others, but
Yeah.
yeah, it takes you right back. And so it's hard, but that's just part of aging and growing up. And
And
yeah, aside from that, I can't see any other major attachment to this coaster aside from the nostalgia factor.
yeah, and I don't, as far as I'm aware, I mean, California is pretty far from you and I. We're here in the heart of the Midwest,
The
basically,
Rust
but
Belt.
yeah, the Rust Belt. So I don't know how the Californians are taking it, but I mean, obviously, when Kingda was announced that it was closing and going to be i- imploded, there was
Hmm.
a pretty big cry out from enthusiasts that were not pleased about it, and I
Yeah.
haven't really heard as much of that with this ride.
Hmm.
And I don't know if people just kind of saw the writing on the wall already and weren't as surprised as with Kingda, or if it just didn't have like as big of the following.
My guess is, and this is probably a far fetched idea, but they've seen how they can sell the track of like Wicked Twister
Hmm.
and thought, ooh, we'll probably make more money if we just chop up this thing and sell it to a
Yeah,
bunch of enthusiasts for thousands of dollars.
it's smart.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a great marketing strategy. It's very Six Flags
yeah,
for them to jump on board. And
yeah,
so, anyway, I think that ultimately, whatever the case, like it this is going to be gone, but I don't know what that will look like. I'm sure
right.
because they're going to obviously going to keep the towers,
Yeah.
but I just don't understand their logic there with it.
No, I don't either. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was just temporary for a couple of years because they've already
Yeah,
started construction on a new coaster. Um, as far as
yeah.
like land clearing.
Hmm.
So I think they have their next coaster project lined up, and I think it's rumored to be opening in the summer of 2026.
26. Yep.
So,
Vekoma. Yeah,
right, so maybe Lex Luthor Drop of Doom is just around for the next 2 or 3 years. And
yeah,
then once they decide to use this land, then I would imagine it would come down. Because I mean, I think it might be a bit of an eyesore
yeah.
too.
It already kind of is
Yeah,
just this
it's just a
weird
bit
tower
outdated.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Time to go.
I
Chop
wouldn't,
it up.
yeah, chop it up and sell it to
Chop it
enthusiasts.
up and sell it.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if that only was around for the next couple of years and then that was turned
Yeah,
into scrap metal.
yeah. You had to think that would happen at some point.
Yeah. But I don't, yeah, I mean, so when they announced it, I wasn't shocked. I don't think too many people were shocked. Um,
No.
because
And
this
I don't think
coaster,
anyone was heartbroken either.
no, I mean, it had a lot of its issues, and I think they just realized that, well, I think A, they couldn't get parts to fix it anymore because it was a 30-year-old coaster, and then B, like, how much money do we want to throw at something like this, and
Exactly.
we got to cut our losses and look
When
to the
now we're this
future.
we're
Yep.
now this mega corporation, we have all this money. Let's just
Yeah, I know.
call
It's
it.
it's been really interesting since Cedar Fair and Six Flags merged, like to see all the things that are just willing to cut and
Yeah.
just like move on because I think it. I mean, I do wonder if maybe if there wasn't this merger, if this ride would have stayed or if Kingda would have stuck around maybe a little
Mm-hmm.
bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think yes, but I don't know. They
Yeah.
have a plan which I like, and they're trying to improve the parks, which I like.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm on board with it as long as they don't touch any of the rides that I like.
Yes, exactly. I'm on board until they piss me off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then yeah, that's when I show up and throw a fit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so I was able to track down the original commercial for
In true
Superman.
Airtime Misfits
Yeah,
fashion.
that's right. And this was for Superman The Escape, which was the original name in 1997.
Hmm.
So this commercial would have aired all the way back then. Um, I did think, I mean, so obviously if you're listening to the podcast, you won't be able to watch it, but it definitely has that sort of 90s like edgy rock and roll vibe where, back then everything was like extreme and No Fear, that brand No Fear.
Oh yeah.
Even this music that's in the commercial reminds me of Limp Bizkit a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's
Cuss
basically
out your mom.
that's right, break some stuff. So basically, if you're just listening, it's just a montage of the coaster going up and down the tower and these people making like extreme faces while they're riding it with like that over exaggerated like wind in their face, like where their cheeks are like flying backwards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so okay, so this is the commercial that aired in 1997.
Here we go.
The wait is over. Superman the Escape. Up to 100 miles per hour. 41 stories. And a heart-stopping backwards plummet. Superman the Escape. World's tallest. World's fastest. World's only. Save up to $10 on admission with coupons from participating Burger King restaurants.
I like that you could
10.
save $10 with a burger. Yeah. Seeing the
Man.
commercial though, I will say when the coaster actually did like launch together, it is pretty cool to see it go up the tower next to each other. And when one was backwards and they launched together, it is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It looks cool.
Yeah,
Um, but kind of like what you said, it was just it's outdated.
yeah, it is.
I
Yeah,
mean, it served a time, but now
yeah.
it's just time to go, you know?
And I think it's still there, but another thing I remember always about this ride is that it had like the figure of Superman at the top of the tower, like it looked like he was flying.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I
So
do remember that.
that'd be a good collector's piece if someone could get their hands on that thing.
Yeah.
Like some thuzy, put it in their yard. Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally see that sometime.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll be excited to see what they do with this land. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a pretty skinny piece of land, but it's long. It's like a long, skinny piece of land. Um, I mean, they'll figure out something. Um, but yeah, I'm glad I got to ride it though. The at
Hmm.
least one time, and it was all the way back in like 2005, and I tried again the last couple times I went, and it was always closed, but at least I rode it once.
Yeah. Hey, and that's all you needed, really. I mean, that's all I have paid my time for, and
Yeah,
I felt fine with it, you
right.
know?
Yeah. Right. All right.
Huh.
So if you haven't, you can check us out on Instagram at Airtime Misfits. You can go back and listen to all of our old episodes because they're all pretty good, I would say.
Decent.
Um, yeah, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you in the next episode.
See ya.